Hey guys, it's Rose. Today I wanted to do a sweet and simple just book review, very straightforward. And the book that I wanted to review is by Robert Rankin. It's called The Hollow Chocolate Bunnies of the Apocalypse, which I think is an absolutely awesome title. The only reason I picked this up actually was that I read the title and just went, you know what, that's gotta be good. And I wasn't wrong, which is kind of awesome. I would have been really disappointed if a book with such a cool title turned out to have an absolutely awful story in the actual pages. So Robert Rankin is a British author who started writing in the 70s. He's written a lot of books, and he's created for himself a new genre, which he calls far-fetched fiction, which I think is absolutely awesome. And he has kind of a bit of a crazy website, a bit of a crazy fan base who call themselves the Order of the Golden Sprout. And I include those little facts because they'll give you kind of a taste of his style and his character. It's very eccentric, and that comes across in the writing, and I absolutely love it. The Hollow Chocolate Bunnies of the Apocalypse is something of a mystery, and it's based on old nursery rhymes, which I found really, really interesting. So you've got all the toys and nursery rhyme characters like Humpty Dumpty, Little Jack Horner, Jack and Jill, Mother Goose, all living in a city called Toy City. And a young man named Jack, unsurprisingly, comes to the city and teams up with a teddy named Eddie to solve the mystery of why major nursery rhyme characters are being brutally murdered, which is a really bizarre premise and an absolutely fantastic one. It reminds me in a lot of ways of the current trend toward making TV shows and books and comic books around fairy tale characters. You have comic books like Grimm, TV shows like Grimm and Once Upon a Time, and all the live-action fairy tale movies that are being made like Maleficent and Cinderella, which comes out this year. But this takes it, obviously, to nursery rhymes rather than fairy tales, which sticks in that same kind of nostalgic, magical level, but it's something a little bit new, or a little bit old, because this isn't a particularly new book. It is, however, a really good book. It's really fun, really fast. It's one of the first ones that I've read that's a bit of a mystery in a long time, and I was pleasantly surprised, because I didn't think that I liked mystery books. And as you will remember from my reading resolutions video, one of my resolutions was to read books that are out of my comfort zone. This is definitely one of those, and I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. Other than the plot itself and the sort of whimsical nature of having nursery rhyme characters brought to life and getting drunk and murdered, which kind of appeals to the dark humor in me, the other thing that I loved about it was Rankin's obvious passion for language. I'm one of those people who doesn't just love a book for the plot or for a character. I actually love the sound of words and the shape of them on the page and the way they fit together. I love onomatopoeic words. I love alliteration. I love anything that really brings the joy in language and letters itself, rather than just like, this is a cool plot. I want to have the writing and the words be as exciting and thrilling as the characters and the storyline, and this book is perfect for that. He has such a whimsical and exciting way of writing, and he's just obviously takes such great joy in putting words together, and I love them. And to show you a little bit about that, I actually picked up a couple passages from this that I wanted to read, which I don't usually do in reviews, but these are spoiler-free, I promise, and just show his use of language so beautifully. First one, it's also very funny, so I hope that you will find this funny, and as funny as I did. It is a fact well known to those who know it well that we can only truly know what we personally experience. Above and beyond that, it's all just guesswork and conjecture. Of course, there are those who will take issue with this evident profundity. They will say, but what do we really understand by truly know and personally experience? But to these issue takers we must say, get a life and get a girlfriend. And then there's a little bit that I'm skipping, and this beautiful paragraph where Rankin just makes up words because obviously he couldn't find the words to say it right, and I love these, and I think that these should pretty much be added to the English dictionary now because they are really fun words. The frabois grammating of the loch against its keep was positively malagruous in its precundity. The grieving and snattering was starkly blark. As for the spondabulous carathony that the broken door made when it struck the vestibule floor, the word fregnacious is hardly sufficient. That is writing that sounds almost nonsensical, but also so perfect, and I love it, and huge chunks of the book are like this, and it's what made it so much fun to read. When I was looking through this to find these passages, and there's a second one that I will read as well, it was not difficult. It wasn't one of those books where I was like, I'm going to search out these one or two really great bits. This is me sitting at my desk and just flipping open at 2 points and going, oh yeah, these are perfect. Because the whole book is just such a revelry of language, and I cannot stress how fantastic it is. But I can read another little bit to you so you can see what I mean. And this one is the introduction of a new character, and it is a wonderful use of alliteration, and I will admit that as much as many people think it's kind of a amateurish way to write, I adore alliteration. I think it sounds beautiful. I love how the words trip off your tongue, and obviously Rankin agrees with me, so I'm going to take that to mean that it's okay that I like it too. Here we go. Madame Goose was indeed a goose, and a very large goose was she. Jack could see that she wasn't a clockwork goose, rather some great soft toy of a thing, fully feathered and most convincing. She was a profusion of petticoats and a gathering of gingham, with glittering rings on the tips of her wings, and she walked with a quack and a waddle and a quack and a flurry of eiderdown. It's just beautiful. The other really exciting thing about this book is that underneath the sort of simple murder mystery plot and underneath the really fun language is a bit of a deeper commentary on society, which I'm sure you can find in any book if you really look hard enough. But it's got a lot to say about awareness of ourselves, about the idea of religion, of God and the devil, of having sort of multiple universes, and how our perception of the world goes beyond that and into that. And it's really fascinating on that level. It doesn't go into it hugely deeply. I wouldn't say that that's the central point of the book. I would actually argue that the central point of the book is just to glory in words, which is as good a point as any as far as I'm concerned. But the deeper levels are definitely there, and it can definitely give you something to think about. I actually think that this would be kind of a cool book club book. It's not the kind of book that usually would be chosen, I don't think, but it would be a really cool one to discuss, and it would be an interesting one to try to solve the mystery as you go, but it's also an interesting one to talk about the bigger issues, and also just to talk about your favorite bits of made-up languages, or your favorite new word that Mr. Rankin decided to just make up. Overall, I would absolutely recommend this book to anyone. The best thing about this for me was that I really picked this up on a whim. This was in the library sale, and it was in the Christmas library sale, so it cost me a grand total of $0.25. 25 cents for a new book, but also for an introduction to an author that I hadn't read before. And now, having read him, I've looked into his website, into his fan sites, into the style that he writes in, and I'm pretty confident in saying that I will go out and pick up a lot more of his work, because this one was just so much fun, and I love finding an author who truly, truly loves the language and has just such a glee in writing it and in making things up. So thank you to the library Christmas sale for introducing me to Robert Rankin. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you've read any of his other books, or if you've read this one, please comment. We can talk about it, and we can glory in the words together. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.